The chance of that Game 5 is going to take this losers semis and move on into losers finals. Your winners, Red Suns.
And a congratulations to the Ink Lawyers, who dropped down onto the loser side of top 16 very, very early on and made Game 5 win after Game 5 win over and over. A big congratulations to them for making their comps work. It's not so easy to do. It's always easy to fall back on meta, but really it's always about comfort. It's about consistency, and sometimes you've got weapons that work that aren't meta.
And you know, it's very interesting to talk about meta, because as this being like the final day that we're going to have said meta before we move on, it's kind of interesting to see people still try to experiment with certain types of weapons, you know? Being able to throw out like kind of zany weapons that maybe they don't even want to run ink armor. Maybe they want to play a more aggressive approach. Maybe they want to play with like the short burst option shooters and just be right in front of their faces instead of going for the back lines, you know? It just depends on what they want to do.
Yeah, and LAN I think is so fun as well, because oftentimes when you get people together here, they are willing to try, I won't say necessarily new things, but they prep for these. And they've got different compositions that they want to run against their opponents. And again, there are some weapons that just function completely differently on lanes. Brellas being one of them. We already talked about burst bomb, splash damage as a whole. So
where my Brellas at? I want to know where my Brellas are at. All my Brella homies, where are you picking those Brellas? I want to see them here at the LAN. I know if I had a pick for Brella, like I would always go for that. I remember when I first saw Brella get announced like a couple of years ago, and when they were like showing off the new weapons, like, yo, a shield weapon? I kind of like it. And then I played, and I was like, wow, this is weird.
I mean, there was a period where a lot of people would be running it, and you know, since then, certain
time has
weapons,
passed.
Well, yeah, and certain weapons that perform really well against it then got buffed multiple times, and it makes it that much more difficult. But Red Sun punching their ticket to losers finals, and the team that knocked them out is currently sitting in Grands. So this, between them and NineWholeGrains, should be a really unique matchup here, given that I don't believe they've played each other over the course of this bracket.
Yeah, and that's another team, like you said, they're going to have to take out in order to get that revenge, that grudge match against them sitting over in grand finals. You know you don't just want to be satisfied with that 0-1. You want to try to at least turn it into a 1-1 into a bracket reset. So where a lot of brackets tend to get really exciting is when you're actually like have the second set play out in grand finals and turns into a best 2 of 3 sets. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, little the true best of 3, as it were there. Best of 3 sets and lots of games. You love to see teams adapt mid-set, mid-game, and you can see there, NineWholeGrains landed from DNA, a very, very strong team. For those of you who watched the Inkopolis Showdown tournaments over the summer, a perpetual team in the top 4 and even in the top 2. Finished second place twice over the course of those tournaments, proving that they can hang with the best of them, take games from the best of them. Sitting down next to Landon is going to be Leotos, the Squiffer extraordinaire, who has taken many, many souls with that weapon. Has a stable of impressive weapons too, but if you've got a Squiffer, why not? And there's our crowd.
Woo! Look at them go, dude. Honestly, I love it when the Splatoon crowd comes out, and they're actually like filling out the seats here. Yeah. I know, because a lot of the times people like to be in the back, they want to play their games, they want to play some tournament matches, go play some, you know, friendlies or whatever. But when it comes down to like the finals day, everyone shows up to be able to find and support the players that have worked so hard, so tirelessly to get to this point of the bracket. So it's always good to have people show up.
And the only people who aren't watching are the people who are either helping production in the back close things down or people signing posters. And that's the real fun thing. The poster sign.
I love
my goodness,
it, dude.
The poster sign.
People had Shine posters here, I saw. Like, you know, people bringing the Shine posters, the Riptide posters.
Fill up that Pokedex, man. Get the signature of everybody. Get you a photo. There's artists here who have trading cards. Shout out to all the artists out there, by the way, bringing those trading cards. I couldn't quite get all of them, but I really wanted to, I guess is all I can tell you in that respect.
Trying to get all the autographs, being able to catch them all is very important. You know, I always wanted to catch the fabled NineWholeGrains, you know, the NineWholeGrains, the rock climber Pokemon. You know, like I want to be able to get that signature. It's very important that we get that. What? You're climbing again. You are. You were telling me about this.
No, never mind.
I want to know. Tell me.
We're pivoting back over this.
We're pivoting back over this conversation. I want to know.
Yes, I am climbing. It was simply the rock climber Pokemon is not what I ever thought that I would be named. is all I can say there. But the players are finally sitting down. The other members here that we did not get to talk about on NineWholeGrains, Jess, who has been playing the K-Pro for the duration of the day, dropped a 20 bomb earlier, a 17 bomb as well. She's just been moving about the map, and it's a weapon that had a time where everybody called for it to be nerfed. Begged. I won't even say call. Like, there were threats. You had to nerf that weapon. It is a long-range battle rifle-style weapon that can take people out in 2 shots, provided that you run enough main power-up, which they all do. It's got a good bomb. It's got a good special with the Booyah Bomb. Great situationally. But it's a weapon that people have kind of moved away from. It's not the most mobile of the shooters, but it's a 2-shot at range. If you have other players who can kind of create scenarios and scrums, it can follow up and really wipe through the opposing team. And if you have a Booyah Bomb, you can use that to displace opponents on top of that. So
turn into a one-shotter.
Yeah, and it's not at all surprising to see that weapon still getting it done. And then the last member of the team, famous, infamous, whatever you want to say, it's going to be Arashi, who has been a mainstay at the top of North American Splatoon for about as long as North American Splatoon has been a thing, piloting the Kensa splatter shot for the most part these days, but also has the famous Kensa L3 nozzle nose. I mean, there were Twitter accounts that were made about this guy's ultra stamp, so he almost always will have at least one moment over the course of these. If you hear mad cackling through my microphone, it's probably Arashi's laugh simply getting over to my microphone. It's a true LAN experience, but this is all to say this is a team of stars. They've come together here for this event in a pickup, which is why the team is, so aptly named Know My Pods. Fun name there. But they're going to be going up against Red Sun here, who is a team that competes together all the time, and that's an interesting dynamic.
And they just caught off the tails of their previous victory, right? Getting that win against Inkler's 3-1, being able to come all the way up here to face off against that. I do want to talk about that Ultra Stamp just a little bit, because anytime I see that special come out, I get mad excited. Nine, you see the hammer come out, the cackling coming out. It's like his soul gets possessed by something else when he goes for that special. And when you throw that bomb, eventually it just kind of turns into like a free splat bomb sometimes. And the range on it is out of this world. I'll never forget the first time I was using the hammer and I found out you could throw it. And I did it. I was like, whoa! Yeah. How do you get that strong? I didn't know the Inklings be going to the gym, bro. They throw that hammer.
I mean, Inklings, like, in lore, are actually kind of doomsday devices, every single one of them.
Wait, what?
Because they can't be killed. They simply respawn over and over and over again.
I thought they were just having fun.
They are. And thank goodness they are. Yeah. Thank goodness they're hedonistic little punks, because they could absolutely destroy things if they wanted to. But to your point about the Ultra Stamp, about the hammer, you're absolutely correct that it is a weapon of chaos. It's great on Rainmaker, even now, even these days, because it simply pops it so quickly, and all it wants is for you to look the other way for just a second. I remember people initially saw what Arashi was doing with it and said, okay, like, this has got to be some sort of gimmick. Not so much. He picks the right times to use it. He doesn't simply use it the moment that he gets it. So I do hope that we get to see that come out. Won't be relegated to Kensa Splatter Shot the entire time, ideally.
I definitely get the concept of wanting to use your special the second you get it, right? Because like there's that case where it's like, okay, once you get your meter, if you use it, you're not going to lose it. Because when you go down, you lose the whole meter. So sometimes a lot of people just want to use it the second they get it, so they know they at least are using the special. They're at least popping it off, especially if it's something simple like ink armor or like something that doesn't require much thought to it besides placement. You can just throw it out there and it's going to immediately help out your team. So, there's something to be said about instantly popping them, but obviously these smart players, the top players, are not going to do that quite yet. They're going to be able to try to find those openings, those specific times to be able to jump into it. And it looks like we're going to be going over to Splat Zone's Inkblot Art Academy for stage number 1. And honestly, I'm a big fan of this map.
Yeah, I mean, to get a little nostalgic here, for those of you who've been following Splatoon 2 since day before 1, you will know that Splat Zone's Inkblot Art Academy was one of the very first map mode combinations that was played back at E3 2017.
I remember
between
that.
Ted Beat and Team Dynamue, and it was, a moment I'll never forget. North America got the win on that, en route to winning it all. So, to say that it's the most popular map in mode, I guess you could maybe say it's Mako Mart Splat Zones, but the fact that both of them are back in Splatoon 3 should tell you how beloved they are the world over. I mean, this is starting game 1 on PS2 on Battlefield.
Yeah, exactly. Just having that neutral stage that everyone just feels comfortable on. No one feels like you're going to have like a slight advantage based on the map, but there's no like narrow vertical lines or anything. It's just a nice open spot. And I'm actually a big fan of how the Splat Zones itself in the center stage is placed, because there's that little building in the middle that you can climb on top of that you can also paint. It gives you like a huge high leverage to be able to shoot people from down below, as well as trying to stop people that are trying to climb up to you. So that was one of the most things that kind of stood out to me on this map, was just being able to have those sight lines from up on high.
The sight line's up on high, and there are certain weapons that can really take advantage of it in a meaningful way. And one of those weapons, of course, being the entire Charger class, but certainly Leotos's patented Squiffer. That's a weapon that we will talk about a lot over this. We're going to get hype over it, as always. But the thing to note, especially when they are the ones piloting it, is you can jump from different angles and take opponents out before they even know. So much of this game is you get hit by one thing and you have to react immediately. You can't react to that. You're done. You're gone. You're at the blast zone.
It's over at that point. And literally just having the Swiffer in your arsenal, being able to have that charger and be able to hold the charge afterwards, so it makes it a very mobile weapon on top of that. So even if someone's trying to rush you down, you do have the ability to kind of like run away and reposition yourself to, put yourself around potential teammates or put yourself in ink so they can't approach as easily. But it looks like we heard the ding. We're going jumping right now into losers finals. Let's get it. Game number 1. Splat Zones, Inkblot Art Academy.
Taking a look at the compositions, and Leotos has switched over to the Bamboozler. Okay, so a lot of things we said.
Barry?
Very interesting the way that this can be played because, again, it plays slightly differently than what you see the Squiffer do. Part of that is due to the kits, but to play it here, this has to be a pick for missiles. They do have a double missile comp right now. They feel like they're going to need it in order to break in. They're going to make the immediate charge. Arashi on the Kensa splatter shot, going to be building up a set of missiles. They're going to get the first take.
Yeah, already a fantastic job of building up meter that fast to shoot off the 10 missiles. 10 missiles just being one of the most important specials for just displacing your opponents, as well as kind of showing where your opponents are going to be at, just having the eye lines on them. Looks like Red Sun's going to be able to take that first zone, but obviously it's not going to be too much because they just let 2 people go down. That's a third. Arashi on fire right now. Going to be able to take that zone. It has another pick on top of that. That's a wipeout, and they're going to start taking the zone. Has 2 specials on top of that to be able to play some defense against No My Pods.
And no risk whatsoever. They're moving up immediately.
Ooh.
I don't think that NineWholeGrains wanted to fall off there. I think they simply wanted to throw those burst bombs as far as possible. One of the easier picks, rather, you will see just get. Now Arashi there, Leotos there as well. Landon going to throw as many bombs as possible up there. Build another armor. Austy, they're going to have all 4 specials on this defensive side. You get the sense that Red Sun really is only going to have 1 try at this. They're putting all their specials behind it. All the counter specials there. Look at how they've been zoned. They're still back up on plat. Just over 30 left. Firing this Booyah Bomb, the last resource that they're going to have for a time. One of them does go down. Can they find their way in? They do get rid of Leotos, but the threat not yet gone.
At this point, Red Sun just needs to be able to take the play and just add some penalty points at this point. Just take the zone, add the penalty points. They're trying to paint. That's going to be a huge pick for Dan. Be able to put this on and put the fight back in the favor of Red Sun. Penalty points on deck. We finally have ourselves a game.
And this is also going to be the first real chance that they'll have to set up a lockout scenario here. All of the members of No My Pods are back on their plat here. You can see some shots over there on the side. Leotos pivoting back over, deciding that there's more important things to worry about. But look at this. They're all over on the right side. Yeah, everybody knows Landon is able to clean up a little bit, but now they might not even be able to get over to the plat. Look at that pre-firing at the plat to not let Leotos go back there for free. Hitting them again. Now where are they going to come from? Now suddenly it's looking difficult for them to build specials. A lot of green on that plat. The ink armor's coming up, but what's the follow-up? There's the missiles, but what's the follow-up? How will they dive in? Can they at least neutralize the zone? They've done so. They were able to take somebody out in the scrum there. And Austy, I'll be honest, they took the zone, but I'm not entirely sure how they did it.
They literally just spammed all their specials, and I guess it kind of just got lost in the sauce when you got all these bombs and specials coming your way. Eventually, something's going to find its mark, and you're going to get a lot of pain off of that. We've got the Bamboozler here on the top of the center stage, having the high lines and the high sights. I feel like both these teams are doing a fantastic job of just playing defense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this might be the most the most played map mode in the history of Splatoon 2. People certainly know what their game plan is here. This is a really interesting spot to use this, and that's not going to get a whole lot done there with the counter Booyah Bomb coming in, crashing in. That's 2 down. Jess and Landon at the bottom of the screen are going to opt to stay and fight here. Okay. Maybe getting one of those would have been a big deal. At least it allowed Landon to jump out. That's going to at least preserve some of their ink armor and a valuable tool for pushing back in.
Yeah, going to make it so it turns into a 4v3 for a little bit. You're going to notice that No My Pod's going to kind of focus more on trying to get as much special meter as possible. There's the ink armor. There's the 10 missiles. Can we get another 10 missiles on top of that? Going to throw all the specials, and here comes the push. Every single time we've seen No My Pods just spam all their specials, they end up at least taking the zone a little bit from them, but it looks like they're not going to be able to take the whole entire thing. You're going to notice that 007 is just trying to get these splats, these picks from long range for as long as possible, but it looks like they're not going to be able to take the zone this time around.
No, they're not, and this is probably going to be the lead as well there. They used all the specials, weren't able to even neutralize the zone. That's going to go back the other way. They're taking the fight all the way up to the plat here, trying to hold them back. Dan's in a great position, but Landon crashes through and is able to get it. They're certainly going to be able to outscale right now. Can Admir get one? No, gets taken out by Leotos, and they will be able to at least give themselves more time to play. That was very, very scary. They pushed up so far. NineWholeGrains so had the opportunity. If they'd gotten one or two of those picks, that might have been game. That's the gamble that you have to take at this level.
I felt like Admir was going to be able to escape from that for a second. They're looking like a master thief from a master class, but now we're going into the nitty-gritty here. NineWholeGrains going down is going to be huge for PODS. They've only got 3 specials to be able to play with to try to take this zone back away from them, and they're going to have to wait for the 4th person to spawn in. There's the Booyah Bomb, going to force them to move out a little bit, not enough to try to even stop the timer at all. Get 10 missiles as well, trying to displace Arashi. 5 points left on the back. They've taken the lead. 3 more seconds. They're going to be able to take the entire game. 1 point left. And now we see Red Sun being able to put some ink on the board. Wants to try to paint it just a little bit more. Put those penalty points on. This is so much better than Arashi's down. That's huge. They get another trade, and they take it back. They're still in the fight, Nine.
They're still in the fight, and boy, oh boy, tremendous there. If any of those fights had gone a different way, this game might be over. But the members of Red Sun proving that the stage is not too big for them. You're going to see it now, folks. You know exactly what we're about to see. Give it a few seconds. Everyone's going to build their specials. It all comes down to how Red Sun reacts and how they move. Keep an eye on where they get moved to. Displaced. They've all survived the initial round of missiles. Just a few seconds left. Landon goes down, but so does Dan. Jess moves up, is able to break an ink armor. Bottom of the screen. Leotos moving in. Arashi moving in. Arashi with the best chance to paint, but it's not going to be enough.
Red Sun brings it back, gets the ink at the very last moment with 1 point to 0. Managed to just have those counter specials at the ready. The entire game was nothing but just exchanging specials to be used as the way to approach and try to take back that zone. Finally, at the end, you saw Red Zones, saw the missiles coming their way, saw the ink armor, and they just popped all their specials as a reaction to their specials to just try to keep the paint on as much as possible. And then you saw one person from the blue team trying to get in there, got splat, and the rest was history.
And it's so interesting to note that the first 2 members to go down there were Landon from PODS, and on the other side, it was Dan. So in most situations, you would say, okay, we traded their K-Pro for our Splattershot Junior. That's okay. One of those weapons is a legitimate threat in every single fight. But in that scenario, not having the Junior to contest zone, to fight zone was huge. I don't know if that's specifically the person that Dan was going after, but that meant that it was going to be so difficult for them to take it. We talked earlier about how the Splattershot Pro, not the best at turfing, especially in zones and scenarios like that.
Absolutely.
And it just, again, incredible presence when all those specials came in. Again, we've seen this song and dance before. You know that it's not only everybody surviving, but where they survive too. The opposing team is looking to crash in and take the zone. They only need 1 flip in order to win the game. So to be able to retreat, but not retreat so far that you're no longer relevant at the zone, shows how much experience they have, not only in this meta, but at this level. They are not frightened by this stage.
It's about staying a threat, but also playing safe. You know, just having that perfect amount of spacing before we go towards that center zone. Now, it looks like for game number 2, counter picks on deck. We're deciding to go over to Anchovy Games for some tower control. Interesting pick here, right? Tower control on Anchovy Games being a very fine time for the tower to be able to push as far as possible. We might see some weapon changes on top of that. It just kind of depends on how they're feeling, right? Like, as an example, you go, like, Suction Bomb's so good on tower control.
It's so good on tower control, and it's worth noting that this was the game that PODS won in winners finals, and yeah, there it is. I was going to say that Bamboo wasn't going to be out for long. Leotos going back over to the tried and true Squiffer, and this thing can absolutely snowball everything into a wreck, perfectly kitted for not only this map, but this mode.
Okay, they're off to the races. The beginning of this map comes out. It's very good to be able to control that center stage, right? Because having that fan being able to give you that little bit of high ground helps with the defense, as well as being able to shoot for free without having much to defensive options coming out of you. And they're actually going for a tower push without getting any splats and going kind of far. What's actually happening right now?
Well, it looks like the members of Red Sun were content to simply sit back, paint their side of the map, and try to build some specials here for what would be the push. That's a strategy that you often see in something like a splat zones. It's not nearly as often seen here on tower control, but again, they knew where the threat was coming from. They knew what parts of the map that they could not give up, the non-negotiables. Jess is going to go down once again, and so far, not too bad. Yeah, they got to 78, but look at what they've gotten in return for giving up just a few measly points.
Yeah, exactly. When there's still over 4 minutes left on the clock, like that little initial push, not going to do too much for you in the long run. Couldn't even break that first checkpoint, and now Red Sun trying to play the little bit of aggressive game, trying to keep the opponents back as far as possible. But there goes one person down. NineWholeGrains throwing out their special on top of that, taking over the lead, going to break that first checkpoint, very close to doing so. Nice is having a little bit of struggle as he dances around it. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite break the whole thing.
No, and Great job on the defensive side. Whenever a suction bomb rushes on your plat on this map, it seems like everything you do is the wrong answer. Do I back all the way up? Do I try to rush forward? Do I pop my special prematurely?
There is no right answer.
There's no right answer, and yet they've done just enough to move through. You can see now with no hesitation, just to move up, has that Booyah Bomb as well. They're going to try to cycle it with this Inkjet, and right on cue, there it is. This is all the specials coming through. They're waiting and zoning. They know that the lead is theirs. They know the checkpoint is theirs, but Austy, they're looking for a whole lot more.
Yeah, Booyah Bomb coming out on top of that. They want to get to that second checkpoint. This is one of those nasty ones where you're going to be completely exposed to enemy fire. Got all the specials coming out. You're not even at that second checkpoint yet, and still, green team coming in. Red Sun's going to be able to take back that tower and put it back over towards the center stage as the specials come back from NineWholeGrains.
And a great ink armor there to neutralize the big threat. You saw Leotos sitting on that fan area, ready to pick off anybody that came down here, but of course, not going to be able to get rid of that if you have an ink armor. Now, they don't have mid yet. They're going to have to fight to get over. And actually, that's 2 going down. I believe Arashi got both of them on fan, and yeah, they are out of there. And boy, oh boy, Austy, this is a lot of room they're giving up. They're going to have to face at least 2 specials on the attack. And where are they going to come from?
Look how deep Jess is. Trying to go for a shark, trying to decide. Oh, almost got that pick. That would have been huge for, even if they got that trade, that would have been huge for NineWholeGrains. Unfortunately, didn't pay dividends. And now we're going to have to see how this next push is going to have to go. I think it's going back to neutral.
Yeah, very blunted on the attack there. You see Leotos once again on the fan. It's going to allow Jess to jump back in here on the attack, but instead they're probably going to be content to simply sit back in mid, build their specials, and go from there. Here's another special. Leotos using that there. Leotos choosing a different target because the Booyah Bomb has come out, and now they got to be careful here. This is going to get camped on the jump. Leotos will get taken out from there. But again, Austy, it's been about 2 minutes, and we're in the same general spot of the map.
Yeah, kind of this huge tug of war. Rashi chilling up on the top side of the map as well, trying to get this splat. Loses the one-on-one. Nice, so going to be able to get that splat, and now this is going to be Red Sun's opportunity to try to make a dash for the races here. See Jess and Lando just trying to find a way to get back over, rotating backwards to get away from these aggressive poaches, these specials coming out from Nino as well as the rest of Red Sun. But this is still kind of center stage, so not getting too much out of that. Booyah Bomb's going to have to force them to move away from it on top of that. Have some battles going on. Ink Armor's going to be able to save the Nice One's not going to be able to get that pick because of that. And they're still shooting, throwing bombs, trying to find these picks, and nothing's happening. A trade comes out.
These Inklings have 200 HP. It's unbelievable how long that fight was extended for. And because it was so long of a fight there, all the other members got a chance to cycle through some specials. I think Leotos got another. Oh, this could get bad in a hurry. They need to close it. That's still 2 down. That's going to at least give the other members of NineWholeGrains a chance to come back into the center of the map. You can see the threat still on. That's a very good suction bomb. Whoa, careful. Gets knocked off the tower there, bounced off with the ink armor. Just going down already. Hold on a minute. That was their main defender that has been pushed up. They've now gone even deeper. Can ISO close this one? It's just Leotos. It does have the weapon to do a great job with, but hold on. Has to be careful. Gets taken down. Austy, that's going to be lead.
That is going to be huge for Red Sun. They're going to be able to get 3 picks on top of that. They're going to continue to be in their home base. Just going to be able to try to find this opening. Get splat on top of that. Fantastic trade for Red Sun. They're going to keep pushing this over to the 3rd checkpoint. They're going downtown. Admir going to be standing on that tower. Dan throwing out the Booyah Bomb right on me base, throwing it towards Lando. Going to force him to push out as he gives up all the time in the world until eventually that Tenta missile's going to come out, make the push away, and they're going to try to get this tower out of here. They're going to try to clean up shop. They're still in their home base, Nine.
Oh my gosh, not able to close out these picks here. This whole thing started when a fight took too long on the bottom half of the screen, and it's still going here. Beam and Nice-O fighting it. Jess is going to have one opportunity to put some pressure on the zone, or on the tower rather, to try to jump it. They're not going to be able to. Wait, no. Done.
Are you serious? Are you for real right now? They held that tower for such an incredibly long time, just keeps getting splat. Someone rotates back a little bit, allows people to be able to super jump back in as they go for another attempt, and it was just a lot of just like haphazard go moment until they could finally get it to that knockout state. Red Sun, whew.
And so much of this game, especially when played at a high level, is timing. And so much of timing relies on getting the picks that you need very quickly. If it takes 3 shots to take out your opponent, you hit those 3 shots and you move on. It's a full coordinated machine and an attack. And again, I want to go back to that long extended firefight that happened down there. There was a cycle of specials that went off in that time. There was so much ground that was ceded in that fight. And when Arashi just weren't able to close that up, again, they're going against quad shooter. We know how mobile that is and how much you can give up simply by taking too long in one part of the map. At that point, they were able to dive in, continue cycling specials, and we saw some good shots come out from Leotos and the rest of the members of NineWholeGrains My Pods, but the writing was on the wall once that second checkpoint fell. It became a scramble situation, and you simply don't beat that mobile of a comp in those scenarios.
It's like beating a dead horse, Nine. Literally, that second checkpoint is just like so important on that map. Once you get past that, it's pretty much almost a game over situation. That's exactly what happened. Saw him get that push, continue to get those splats, got the finisher, and now we're going to see how this game 3 is going to come out, because we've got a lot on the minds of the opposing team here, right? They have to pick a counter pick. Their counter pick didn't end up working out, so it's definitely going to have to do some potential damage to like the mental state, and having like, you know, being able to get that morale up a little bit higher. We got to see what we're going to have to do for this next pick.
Take a look there at the bottom. The people who bet for Red Sun right
They're
now.
losing so many points, baby.
Well, no, the people who bet Red Sun are gaining a lot of points here. The odds, of course, flat bet's always open when you're on these channels. But, yeah, the people betting for No My Pods maybe a little bit, you know, tight around the collar here, sweating a little bit. But, again, they are in danger of being 3-0'd right now. We're going to need to see a reverse sweep again, reminding folks that this is a best of 5, not a best of 7 here in losers finals. So some answers need to be found very, very quickly.
Wait, can I still bet? Is it open still?
Probably not.
What? Okay.
Also, you're a commentator. Don't bet. Don't bet.
Well, what do you mean? I can just go into the chat. You know, like I got my points. I deserve some points to earn, Nine. Come on.
No, you don't.
What
Splat
do you mean?
Zone's Piranha Pit here on game number 3.
Your favorite.
Oh, my goodness.
Splat Zone's on. You already know is Splat Zone's Piranha Plants coming. I mean, Piranha Pit coming up for you around. We got tons of treadmills coming your way, right? Going to be able to help you be able to push towards the center zone, but Splat Zones, there's going to be 2 different sections of it, so you got to control both the left side and the right side. What was that weapon?
That is a brush here that's going to be brought out by Landon, and Jess is actually going to switch over here to the Junior. So this is very, very interesting to note. They will still have their ink armor, but this brush is going to be coming in with Baller, so they're going to be able to create a lot of pressure on the opponent. If you're not familiar with how you play against this, that's how scary it can be, and it actually is Landon, my apologies, who's going to be on it. Now already a fight, a scramble situation. Hold on a moment. This is suddenly an entirely new No My Pods. They're attacking, they're moving, they are sharking, and they are threatening.
Yeah, literally this gives an opportunity to play as aggressive as possible. Try to get in the front lines, play a little bit of sharking action, go around, try to get some you know, turnarounds as well and get it into the back line. So pretty much how the brush is going to be able to work out with Landon. He's doing a good job just being able to paint out, but the whole time Red Sun's been charging up meter because the Booyah Bomb gets the splat while charging it up on top of that. The brush just shooting off so much ink.
And again, the brush is one of the most survivable weapons in the game, and in the era of Splatoon 2 where this was a legitimate threat of a weapon, it's because the teams know how to play around a weapon that simply does not die. There, dives in with the baller. Every other weapon, you're gone if you make that play. Instead, Landon comes back, forces everybody back in the process. Austy, they still haven't neutralized zone. They finally are able to. No more points being scored. And then again, another one goes down, and suddenly this counter pick looking great for them thus far.
Nice how you see, just trying to struggle to get any sort of painting on their zone, throwing up thing. Here comes the hammer, escapes out of there by the hair of his teeth. Man, I don't know how he's alive, but he's going to be able to get back, escape that hammer. Lando back here trying to struggle to get any sort of opening with the ink, and the timer is ticking right now. 15 points left.
And look at this, immediately Landon going and attacking here. Bump, 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 and we are down to just 10 seconds. The Booyah Bomb, double Booyah Bomb being thrown at zone. I think the members of No My Pods a little bit too far separated here. So by trying to separate and attack, they did get themselves away from the zone. That's going to be a delayed 3 down here. Now, of course, the big point, this is a great comp when you have the lead and have the zone to move around, and not so good when you have to break back in. How will they opt to do it? They don't have the traditional long-range specials you're used to seeing. They're going to have to do this the honest way.
It might have just been a big gamble, right, at the very beginning, trying to take that zone and hold on to it. Now we got the counter specials coming out from Red Sun, going to be able to throw out that Booyah Bomb, gets a splat on top of it. We see them kind of displacing No My Pods. Another pick, and we get that triple. He's looking for it. He wants it so badly, but he's trying to fight for his life right now. Nice, so he finds it. He gets the triple. It's going to be a wipeout. Red Sun in control. I think they probably pretty much got to the map at this point, Nine.
Yep, that's another one. Nice. So on that K52, there's not a weapon here that can truly challenge it. Dan position as well. Arashi's hammer might be the last resource that they have. Where are they going to come from? Looking at the bottom of the map, they're going to have to push in. There's not a lot of time. They lose the lead. What are they going to be able to find? They toss it at zone. They neutralize. There's more work to be done. The missiles coming in. Landon painting. Leotos is down. They're going to have to use this baller on their zone just to keep up, but it's 2v4. You're not painting over it, and it is going to be Red Sun with the 3-0 in losers finals.
What an incredible comeback on that third map. You saw them go for the opportunity. Like, you know what? We're going to gamble with this. Take away that zone at the very beginning. Hold on to the defense. It's going to do so much for you, but unfortunately, Red Sun just found a way.
And they found a way, and again, that composition that they chose there is such a change. It's so difficult to go up against quad shooter when you have something like that, because again, it's all based on separation, forcing them apart, but they're such mobile weapons, and when you have a double missile, it doesn't matter where you are on the map. You can still affect the relevant areas. You can see some great stats up here. Man, that K and assist number, nice. Oh, great job. The MVP, 16 just kills, if I'm reading this correctly, with 0 assists, 5 per minute, 2 deaths, 10 specials used, 10 specials charged, 32 booyahs, and you can see also the special use per minute counters there. So some great stats here. Thank you to the production team. But I mean, for Red Sun to be able to weather push after push in that second game, we felt like that early push that was going the way of No My Pods lasted really the first half of the game. They held firm. Then they got it all the way down to 8 points, I'm sorry. And even in the game before that, it got all the way down to 1, and they held through that. Those were 3 games where a lesser team would crack, where their margin for error was razor thin. So yeah, we can talk about the comps here. We can talk about quad shooter, this and that. The K-Gal is very, very strong. We know this. But so many teams using those same weapons, that same strategy on this stage would have fallen. They did not. Mentally, they are steeled, they are prepped, and more than anything, they are ready for their rematch.
And their morale is at an all-time high. You saw them pop off after that victory, too.
Still seeing
yeah,
it, frankly. It's not done yet.
Yeah, literally, they're still, like, if you get the camera on them, like, you can actually see people just, like, going over there congratulating them. Because that was, like, quite a win of a set, right? Yeah, at the end of the day, it was a 3-0. But it was a very, very close 3-0. There's so many times, like you said, they could have like ended up just losing it altogether. But they're going to be in it to win it, as they're going to make the trip back up to grand finals that they have to play potentially 2 sets to take this tournament, right? They're coming from loser's side. They're going to have to take, I believe it's a best 4 of 7? Is that what we're doing for grand finals? I'm not entirely sure.
We will double check with that as well, but what we can tell you is the team that they are going to be up against here. This is a team that is filled with top shelf talent here, one of the presumptive favorites coming into it. And, you know, the thing about these teams when you get to this level, right, is that it's so difficult in the heat of the moment to identify which player is going to be the one to make the big play. Like, we talked about NiceO a lot that set, but who's to say it's going to be that way this time? There's so many mistakes that can be made that can open up the opportunity for a player who is ready to grab that initiative to make the game-winning play. And we will see that ideally here as Assault of the Sasquatch does get up on stage. They are, of course, again, your presumptive favorites for this. They took care of business against No My Pods earlier. And like we said, top shelf talent that's been doing this for many, many years.
Now, Nine, we're starting to approach the end of this tournament, right? We got 1 set, potentially 2 if the bracket gets reset, and then we are done. And you know, it's been 5 years since Splatoon 2 came out, so we had a lot of LANs, a lot of online tournaments, so much history has been made. And you got to know that people have got to be feeling something special for this tournament, yourself included.
Yeah, we're waiting on the emotions here. There's a job to be done, but you know, there is no doubt that this game has changed many, many people's lives. A community has come up on it. People have gone from being very young to coming through college to becoming young adults who have shaped what they want to do for their careers because of this game. And you know, again, we'll have more to say on this matter, but thank you everyone who's joining us here. There are a lot of other streamers you could be watching right now who are streaming Splatoon 3, but it really does mean a lot to us that you are here helping us send off Splatoon 2 at Riptide, and it truly does mean a lot, so we thank you once again.
Yeah, giving it the send-off it really deserves, you know? Like, not just letting it, oh, it's gone, it's done for. No, like, literally, like, we got one more show, one last tournament, one last set to give home to us. So seriously, thank you guys. Always coming out with the support. Thanks to production for bringing it. Always to be able to put this on. I love IPL Splatoon, everyone that comes in and just does all the good work for them too. TO's coming in. And
we are going to go ahead and pass here shortly to our MC, that is the Pop Gun, who will be introducing you to all of the fantastic competitors here. We'll, of course, follow up on everything that is said there and tell you about these players, but you are going to be in for a treat. Assault of the Sasquatch versus Red Sun. And it does look like the fans so far very much in favor of Red Sun. Well, now it's evened up a little bit, but almost a flip from that last set, 55%, 45%. So Worth noting here, I guess, while we're on the brief topic of Splatoon 3, an amalgamation of Assault of the Sasquatch was the team that won Splatoon 3 a couple days ago here. So you can tell they were competitors in Splatoon 1 and strong then, certainly strong here in Splatoon 2, and it seems like they've already got it figured out in Splatoon 3 as well.
Yeah, literally just coming up, finding those correct strategies to bring it into the next game. Tons of things. I actually like that it was pretty even, by the way, on that guessing, right? Because a lot of people just would have assumed, yeah, Assault of the Sasquatch won winners finals, going to move on. Looks like they're definitely the ones favored to win this tournament, but I think a lot of momentum right now is in Red Sun's favor. They have all the heat. They have all the victory right behind their past, and I think a lot of passion from the audience at home to be able to see if they can be able to bring this victory home or not.
Yeah, and looking at the macro level of the tournament run here, you have so many best of 5 simply to get this far, and then you get what should be your toughest opponent yet, and you 3-0 them? I mean, it's one thing to go best of 5, best of 5, best of 5, all the way through, game 5, game 5, game 5. But then when you get to losers finals and you 3-0, you have truly hit your peak, and it does appear right now that, Popgun is walking over there talking to the players, so are we good to pass it over? Not yet. Okay, well, people had to, Red Sun has been up here for a little while, so they're getting some water here, and after that pop-off there, that was a full workout set in and of itself.
Yeah,
so
literally.
We will continue to vamp a little bit. I know you like vamping, Austy. This is your stage. Go for it.
I actually absolutely love it. You talked about, getting a workout from that pop-off, right? How many reps was that, you think? With the reps of, the pop-offs,
that's at least a solid 4 for 8.
Yeah, 4 by 8,
4 by 8. True,
yeah,
4 by 8.
Yeah,
coincidentally, the best event in track and field, too, for all of you runners out there.
Really? I mean, you used to run track back in the day, right?
Yeah, back in the day. And when I was there, I ate a lot of pizza. And
what
we
type
will
of
be going
pizza?
to a commercial from Papa John's. Don't go anywhere, folks. Riptide, Splatoon 2, coming right back.